Good morning. Is this the same team we had here on Wednesday? Yes, karibuni sana. Let me take this opportunity to thank you for having continued with the program well. Yesterday I was not able to make it. We had been invited to Parliament for the addressing of the nation by the President. And so I had to attend to that. I did. And there are many things, many good things we had. And I think one of them, of course, among the many, was the cancellation of the Adan deal. Yeah, it was very exciting. I also found myself standing as if I was one of the members of Parliament. And of course, I think the other thing which he pronounced himself very strongly on is the question of support to our women, which is part of our business today, the empowerment of the women. Yeah, I can only pray, Rita, that those things will be implemented. I think that's my prayer. And I was having a discussion with her this morning, and I was asking, once the President has pronounced himself on something, is it not our business from the spaces that we occupy to take it up and run with it? Kwani kuna shida gani? In fact, that should be our next question. Ama namna gani? Yes. And that becomes a reference document. Yeah. And then let us see who will stop you. And especially when the pronouncements are good. Like the ones we had yesterday, they were quite excellent. Very interesting. So we hope that as a country, we will be able to get many things done. And many good things. So thank you very much. So we are on the path line to winding up, and Gloria, thank you very much for holding forte. The CEO, I was told, is not around, but he will join us later. And so we have got our next speaker as we tend towards winding up today, who is going to speak on the question of work-life harmony and integration initiatives to promote women well-being at work. Long one, but I think it speaks for itself. And so we have got none other than Madam Rita here. Rita Kavashe. Allow me, because I have got a mother tongue. Kavashe, who is the chair of the board and also the managing director of ISUZU East Africa Limited, which is formerly the General Motors East Africa. And so please take note. Take note that she's doubling as chair and the CEO. That becomes the entry point. You know, that's a very heavy task. We had an opportunity of visiting them as a council one time, and they used to have a chair who was a Japanese. And so I was asking her, where is the Japanese? And she told me the Japanese retired. And so who is the chair? She told me she's the chair. And who is the CEO? She told me she's also the CEO. Therefore, a very heavy combination. And so you'll be talking to us about how you are combining these roles. And then this is part of our business. Because the main challenge, as observed from the concept paper on this program, is that women have got more than what they carry. You know, what we see is just part of what they carry. And yet, we want them to advance into levels of leadership. And therefore, the experiences that you have are what we are looking for, so that we can be able to mentor and empower these young women. Let me call you young women, because you are like, some of you are like my daughters. Others probably are like my sisters. I doubt whether there is an equivalent of an aunt here. Yeah, and we are actually mentoring you, and so that's our target. Rita's career in the General Motors began in 1995 in the East African operations, where she has worked for the last 27 years. She became the company's first Kenyan managing director in 2011. That means you used to have expatriates. That tells your story. To be trusted by such a multinational institution, it's really something. So, what is this that they found in you? That's number one. And number two, considering that you are a lady, which is also rare again, to have ladies at that level, you will be telling us more. And prior to her current position, she served in several key roles in sales and marketing organizations, both in Kenya and South Africa, and participated in the participated in the General Motors sponsored leadership programs, including the Harvard Business School leadership program. Yeah, quite high again. Rita is currently a member of the Advisory Council of the Kenya Private Sector Alliance, KEPSA, which you know about, and advisory board member of the Palm House Foundation. She also served as a member of the University of Eldoret Endowment Trust Board of Trustees. Again, another very heavy responsibility. I don't know how you are managing all this, but you tell us while you are also doing the other usual calls. And so we can't have a better person really speaking about this topic. So karibu sana. I know there is you have some of your colleagues around. Where is the oh, here they are. Please smile to them at the appropriate time. Yes, and then we also have, we are anticipating Dr. Wasike. He has not yet arrived. When he arrives, I think we'll be able to see him. So you have got enough support around. Karibu sana, feel at home. Yeah, so the space now is yours. Karibu sana. Thank you very much. Let's appreciate her.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairman. I was very warmly received this morning by Madam Emily, and I was telling her and the chairman, sometimes I get invited to speak and have to find my way to where the meeting is. But I felt the warmth of this team. And I can tell from the onset that it is an organized team, because sometimes you can tell the strength of an institution by just observing the small things. So I really appreciate you, Emily, and Chairman, for your time. So the topic to be discussed today is harmony, and how we integrate it with the work that we do. So I'm going to do many things because I prepared a presentation, but sometimes I go to these events and sometimes I decide to speak from my heart, depending on who I see. Because I can see individuals who are very young. So maybe my story can help them more than taking them through slides that they can read. So I'll do a combination of both. But what is harmony? Harmony could mean what gives you harmony might not necessarily give me harmony. And maybe we look for harmony in different things at different seasons of our lives. Just stay with me on that. So harmony is a state of peaceful coexistence and agreement between people or groups. that we are going to live peacefully together. We are going to live in harmony. A pleasing arrangement of parts, often creating balance and similarity, e.g. music, nicely put together so it gives you peace. A sense of mutual respect, understanding, cohesion that fosters collaboration and shared values. That's harmony. So peace, unity, and all that. And I became grandma, first-time grandma, 4 months ago. And it's very exciting for me. And I was with a friend of mine. We were going somewhere. So we had 2 places to go to. We had to visit a farm and visit a nursery for flowers. So I told her, no, I don't think I can do both. We can go to the farm, but I can't make it to go to the nursery. She says, why? It's still in the same neighborhood. I said, no. Because I have to go to my son's place because I must take care of my granddaughter. Because my daughter-in-law has just gone back to work. So I was sharing her that I'm coming to meet you and sharing with you. And she said, you see, there was a perfect opportunity for you to create harmony for your daughter-in-law and your son. So I observed my son that evening. I was at their place taking care of my daughter-in-law from 3 o'clock to 8 p.m., actually to 6 p.m. when my son comes, and 8 p.m. when my daughter-in-law comes to their place. So I'm seated there happily taking care of this beautiful thing that has been named after me. And my son comes in. He says, hi, Mom, how are you? Looks at me, and he goes to his room, puts his gym stuff, and off he goes. I'm like, Chief, I was here taking care of your son, so your daughter, so you come and take over. He looked at me, and he was at peace that I can leave my child at this hour with my mom, and I'm out of here to go and exercise. So my daughter-in-law, who is a pediatrician, is in the hospital taking care of other babies, and she's thinking about her baby because she's just gone back to work. How is my baby? Who is taking care of my baby and all that? She even installed a CCTV so she can see me in her sitting room taking care of my granddaughter, also her own nanny when I'm not there and she's not there, doing that work. So that, to me, is balance. I am giving them balance so they can concentrate to do their work. Because when I am in that home of theirs at that hour, you can imagine the level of peace that they have at their workplace. They continue to deliver for the organization because they have peace. There is harmony that someone is supporting them. And this is exactly what we are talking about. We have work, we have things to do, but who is the person? How can we create balance? How can we be peaceful in whatever we are doing so that we can be able to continue to deliver? So this is the conversation that as women, how do we ensure we have balance? And for me, I can connect very quickly to their situation because it is a situation that I have been in many times in my career where I had to get balance to be able to propel myself to deliver for my organization and to deliver for myself. So this state, this state of harmony or of peace, it might mean different things to different people. So what gives Valerie harmony over here might not be necessarily the one that gives me harmony today. So when we talk about work-life harmony or balance, it means different things to different people. And I remember when I was given an opportunity to go and work for a different boss, because that time I was working for General Motors, and for you to be promoted to senior leadership position, you can't only be working for one person. You get exposed to work under different leaders so they can assess fit to lead the organization. So I was working for, I had to go to work for this new boss in South Africa. And my daughter was just 8 months old. So I left her. I took a deliberate decision. However imbalance it might look for somebody else, but to me that position, taking that role, was giving me balance. And that is how I look at it. So I said, yes, I want to grow my career. I have an 8-month-old baby. The opportunity is outside the country. What do I do? So I made a decision that I'm going to leave Nairobi and I'm going to go. And that time I couldn't go with my daughter. I had to leave her in Nairobi. So I went, packed my bags, went, took up my new position. But for me to get balance, I knew I needed to get someone to take care of my child whom I can trust. So I went and got a relative, my own relative, my own cousin. I said, please, you're going to come and sit here to give me balance, to get myself out of this place to go to some other place. So that was okay. I left, went to this new location, and I started to do my work. And when I arrived in South Africa, and I'm telling my colleagues the story, you left an 8-month-old baby? Oh man, shame, 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 shame. Shame. They couldn't deal with it because that was not their balance. Their balance was to be at home, work close by to their offices, take care of their baby. And you can't blame that. Isn't that an honorable thing to do? Is that not the dream of any mother, to be close to their kids? But for me, my balance at that point was, what was my value at that point? I needed to go to this location. I needed to experience this new opportunity. And I needed, because I knew after that I might get promoted to a new position. I might get a new job. I might get a new salary. And I might get the money I'm looking for to be able to give my children the balance I think they needed, which was a good education, maybe a house that I could afford to buy, and all that. That was the balance. So I sacrificed a little here, created the balance that I needed at home, and took a new position. So when people talk about work-life balance, I want you to look at it from your own point of view that connects to your value and what you're looking at any point in time of your life. Dictate your own balance. It's not a script for everybody. It is for you, and where are you at, and what are you trying to achieve? How then can you create a balance that gives you the opportunity to do and be what you want to be? So from an organizational point of view, I want to now look at how, okay, what have I done? Okay. So in the workplace, how then as leaders, how do we create the balance that is required for our employees to thrive, especially both male and female employees? So you look at flexible work hours. I think this is something that is here now, has been enhanced by COVID, because COVID came and then remote working became a real opportunity. It was there a long time ago, but people were not making good use of it. But with COVID, then people started to use it more. So how do we establish those tools so that female employees can be able to work at the office when they have to, work remotely when they must? How are the tools? How are we enabling them to have the tools? How are you being enabled as employees, if you're employees where you are, to be able to take advantage of this? And then leveraging technology. For instance, at ISUZU, our employees, they all have laptops, so they have the tools. They have network, so they can plug in at home or wherever they're in the field to be able to do their work. Supporting supportive communities. You know, what you're doing here, right here, is actually balancing. If you think about it, you are here as professional, but engaging with fellow professionals, learning from each other, picking good lessons from each other. That will actually give us balance. Mentoring programs, as Chairman said, all of you are relatively young, youthful, apart from Fred. And Fred. But even Fred, Murimi is very youthful. He's my boss, by the way. Talk about balance. You can be led by people who are more older than you, and that does not destroy your balance, isn't it? He's a director. He asks me difficult questions. He could be younger than me, but he gives me balance because I'm able to leverage. You know, balance is leveraging skills of also younger, senior, and get the balance, ideas, help you to balance. Because balance is not just wellness, it's also thinking, opportunities, and all that. So Fred, I can see you, boss. So how do we use these forums like this one to get balance? So we might say balance, but we need the infrastructure, right? So exactly what I've said, like technology and remote working and all that, we need policies. We need to come up with those policies that enable employees to be able to work remotely. Fred here of ISUZU East Africa has come up with policies that allow me or any other colleague of mine to really be able to work remotely. What documents do we need? What are the KPIs? How do we ensure that when we work remotely, we are actually delivering for the company? And as we go along, in our communities, we are seeing that balance is also not necessarily work-life balance. There are other things that are more important to people, such as job security. It's being seen as a very important aspect when you do an assessment on employees, especially the millennials. They want to be secure because the environment is very volatile. So job security is very important. So how can you achieve job security in a very competitive and changing environment where HR practitioners like Fred are beginning to say, no, you just need a portion of this job. We don't want you forever. We want you to just do a particular project and disappear. And yet you're looking for security. And also we are seeing millennials. For them, balance is by the hour. They want to work for 2 hours and gym for 3 hours, come back and work for 2 hours. How then do you create those policies, Fred? Where I want to work, but I don't want to work 8 hours. I want to work kidogo, I want to stretch, I want to go to the gym, because balance is by the hour. If I feel I'm tired of this job, I don't want to be sitting there for 8 hours. How can I escape this? How then can we get balance when everything is changing, technology is changing and all that, as women in particular? How do we then rejig our learning so that we're able to take advantage of these opportunities? So the whole idea of learning so that we can be able to get balance, because we could be expert in our fields, but new things are coming that are requiring us to learn new technologies, new ideas. So let's look a little bit about positioning of women for work-life balance. As I said, over 61% of young workers would reject jobs that disrupt balance. Kama hii kazi hainipati balance, I am not interested in it. So what is that balance? How can we support that balance, especially for us in leadership? How can we create an environment that these employees can thrive in those areas? Again, I mentioned about security, and then the tech impact, technology, and all that. So I want to change course a little bit and talk a little bit around your role in creating balance. Chairman here, maybe he wears a little bit of political hat. That's why he ended up yesterday being invited to participate. So he's a very big influencer of balance from a political point of view. Chairman, isn't it? So women who are holding political leadership, including men, because balance, I don't think it's only for women. Balance is for everybody. Harmony is needed all over the world. You can see today in the political scenario globally, there is actually no harmony. You go to the Gaza, there is war. When there is war, there's no harmony. You look at leadership, the quality and the crop of leadership today does not give a sense of harmony. People are sitting at the edge of the table because they don't feel peace. So how can we then leverage political leadership and the critical mass of women in those political leadership to influence policies that create harmony for citizens and also for women? I create harmony for women in my organization because of the role I play. And Fred and these two ladies here will tell you, when a woman in our organization, when a female employee goes to get a baby, how many have babies? Ladies with babies. So during that process, when you get a baby, it's a very, very important moment for a woman. Because that is the time you have additional responsibility of taking care of a young baby. And therefore you are thinking about job security. Will my job be there tomorrow? Because I need medical cover, I need additional diapers, I need additional money, and I need some form of security. And we know why, because I am a woman and I have been through that process. So I can tell Fred, when this employee comes from maternity leave or while she's still there, I want you to tweak your compensation program to address my employees' fears. So Fred will make sure, if it's a salary increment, if it is a bonus, that employee receives that letter from the organization when she's still out there. So that gives that employee a sense of security and that their job is assured, that they don't need to worry when they come back to our business. It is business as usual. So that is the role of leadership at whatever level, whether in politics, whether it is on an organization, to create those policies that help to create balance, because that is balance. I can sit happy at home knowing my job is there, and I know that my company will continue to support me. So I want to switch to just talk about this whole issue of balance and how it has worked for me, because I think that is more interesting. And I started talking about it when I talked about creating balance for my own child. But I have my own leadership model that I am actually developing that I can say summarizes my leadership journey. And I'm going to talk to it in relation to harmony. How I have been able to build harmony within my leadership role, looking at this particular model. And it's called care. Care. And my C is commitment. In my leadership journey, every responsibility that I've been given, I have taken it up with very, very serious commitment. I was invited to come to this event. And Emily was wondering, you have arrived. I was here at 8 o'clock on the dot. She came looking for me, I was looking for her. You have arrived. Because I said I was going to come. I committed to come. And therefore, I came. It might sound small, but it gives you balance. When you commit to do something, whatever, and you actually do it, does it not give you peace of mind? If you committed and you didn't do it, you feel a little bit uneasy. You know, I promised that I was going to come to share my experience with this team. I didn't go. It unbalances you if you have values that you stand for. That I made a promise to come here, I didn't. I show up. So commitment to the cause, commitment to what you believe in, commitment to your values, commitment to others, that you have to do some work to support your organization, to support your church, your family, whatever commitment that you have made, you have to follow through that commitment, because then it gives you balance. The A stands for awareness. And I normally call it double A. Aware, being aware, and adapting. Adapting, you heard me talk about the changing environment, how technology is driving a business. Being aware of yourself. No self. What doesn't give you balance? You must know it, right? Then doing things that enables you to actually attain balance, so you can be able to function peacefully. So I'm aware of my strength. I'm very much aware of my challenges. I'm aware of my environment. When I came and just looked around the room, I can be able to tell what is the audience and how should I tweak my communication so I can be able to impact you young people, young leaders that are growing in your career, in your businesses, and whatever you're doing. So being aware of what you have, being aware of what you don't have, and also being aware of the people around you that you can tap into to be able to deliver on what you're trying to do, that gives you balance. For instance, Valerie here is my lawyer. I'm not a lawyer. So I leverage her. I remember one day I called at my office and told her, Valerie, give me confidence that this contract we are just about to get into, you have done everything you possibly can to assure our organization is safe. Regina is an auditor. If I doubt anything, I go to Regina and say, Regina, can you check for me X, Y, Z? Just check that area. We've not looked at it lately. Just assure me that we are okay. So you're aware of the opportunities that you have within you to leverage them. So as a boss, I don't behave boss. I behave colleague. I tap into the skills of my entire constituency, even outsiders. Ask my boss, Fred. I can call him and tell Fred, I'm getting stuck on 1, 2, 3. Can you help me? So awareness of what you have and tapping into the skills of others can help you a lot to gain balance. And women, I think we are great at that. We are great at tapping into each other for balance. We ask each other for help. We ask for advice. We don't sit with problems. We share them. And that gives you a lot of balance. How are you building a network of communities of friends, professional friends, family friends, who help you to gain balance? So my R is resilience. For you to achieve balance, you must stay on course. Build your own resilience. Don't give up. Remember, you're committed to some values. You're committed to achieving X, Y, Z for yourself, for your family. So you're not giving up. You are building resilience. When you fall, you stand and keep going until you achieve balance. It's like standing on one leg. You know, you need to keep on balancing until you are completely able to really properly stand on it. So how do you build resilience for yourself to be able to achieve balance? And E is empower. Empower yourself. And empowering yourself could be new skills, like we said, tech. The future employees that we are going to have are going to be tech-driven. How do you learn that? How do you empower yourself to have the basic skills to be able to ask the right questions to your employees who are expert in their field? Because we are not gonna, all of us, go to be IT gurus. You know, navigating my phone is a problem. I have to ask someone to do it for me. So how do you then empower yourself at least to have the basic skills to be able to understand the future of work and be able to really manage it? Empowering other people. So for my organization, I have many empowered individuals. They are so empowered. I always tell Fred Wasike here that the whole group of our leaders, we can go and live, and the people below us are empowered enough to be able to run our business, because we build their capacity, we build their capability, we train them, we support them, we leave them to make decisions, and we hold them to account for the decisions that they have made. So that care model for me gives me balance, because it talks to my own values, it talks to who I am, and I have used that in my entire leadership career. I empower people. I am resilient. Our company has been #1, 13 years in a row in a competitive market environment. That is sheer grit. That is resilience. And it is not resilience of one person. It is the resilience of our own organization. It's one of our values, by the way. It's one of the things as a company we stand for. We are resilient. We get hit by some shock in the environment, then we ask ourselves, in this shock, what is the opportunity in this situation? COVID has come. What is the opportunity in this COVID? Oh, we need trucks. See, people are washing hands. What is going to carry water to each and every remote corner of the country? It's an ISUZU truck. It has to deliver water, right? So let's go to talk to government and tell them that we have trucks that can deliver water to every corner of the city. The workers who were doing the work, they needed transport to take them to hospital, to this. We have the products to take them to those situations. So don't give up. Be resilient. So you ladies, you also have a big role to play in creating balance. Because many of you, company secretaries, right? You have a lot of power to create balance. And I'm a teacher, so do we have a roving mic? How can you help to create balance as corporate company secretaries?
I think in one of our key roles of preparing the work plans for the board or the almanac to ensure that there's harmony across with the MD, with the CEO, with the chair, so that there's harmony for everyone.
So, very important role. They do the work plan for the board. There's a lady over there. Over the pie. Yes. Give us an idea of how you can help create harmony. We worked together.
Yeah, so it's through being proactive and giving the board the information they need early in time, make the information, how do I call it? Let it be detailed so that you avoid the back and forth, and don't let your board be left with many questions asking, so then what, because then that one creates mistrust between yourselves as management and the board.
Okay. Very powerful. Regina.
We sit in the board meetings. So when the HR management or director is presenting the remote working policy, to add your voice and help them explain to the board on how this will benefit the organization in the long run. It's not people taking time off. This is what we need to create work-life harmony.
Okay. Influencing policy.
I think because we're also aware of the different personalities in the boardroom, we create a balance by sort of managing the different personalities and relationships and creating a mediator kind of a role, especially where there is conflict at board level. So you find that you're able to navigate between, the CEO, the chairperson, and the members, and just create that harmony within the membership.
Excellent. You balance the different stakeholders in the boardroom. See, now I love it. My brother, honorary sister.
Honorary sister. And I'm privileged to be that today. And I was a company secretary for many years for Kenya Power and Lighting. And the balancing thing about relaxing, or is it toning down the technical jargon for the board members who are not technically in that line of the core business of the organization. That I was in Kenya Power and Lighting, which is an engineering organization, and I was not an engineer. So you have to tone down the language of the papers so that everyone in that board, from whatever background, understands it. The other thing is that the board members themselves come from very different disciplines, and they must make them feel that they belong, because that is not their main line of business. So that role is a balancing role.
Simplification. Go on. Oh, somebody else? Lady over there.
I think also as a champion of governance, you are also to guide the board in terms of the roles of the board and management, so that there is no overlap or interference between the role of the board and management. And this you do daily in meetings and also in the governance documents that you prepare that will guide the institution, so that even as the situation is run is very clear. What's the mandate of the board? What's the mandate of the management? What information needs to flow from up, down, and in terms of implementation or resolution, and the information the board will need to be able to make the decisions that they need, so the organization flows harmoniously.
Excellent. So you can imagine a company without the company secretary. It's chaos, right? Because you are the ones who actually create balance in the business, and you have power, a lot of power to influence the trajectory of many, many organizations. Because more often than not, you create the work plan. You can influence the topics that must be in those board work plans for the year. What are you doing to advance the whole issue of governance, gender matters? Because if you're women, you need to also advance that, because gender issues are not good for women only. They're good for society. The entire society needs an inclusive workforce. So all the ideas are from both men and women. Different communities can be used to propel the organizations or to propel our country. And you guys have a lot of power to push the right policies, to influence, so that we can all gain balance, because at the apex is where all those policies are being made. So it is, you are at the nerve center of balance for organizations. So it starts with self-balance, because if we are not balanced ourselves, we cannot take the best of ourselves to others, to our employees, to our communities, to our workplace. What gives us balance? How do we balance our life? Because you, as a company secretary, if you're not balanced, you know that things will not go right. Me as a CEO, if I'm not balanced, things will not go right. Our employees, if they don't have balance, if we don't have those infrastructure, we don't have those systems, policies that help them to gain balance, then we are not creating a workforce that can be productive for our business. So balance is core to productivity, is core to sustainability of our families, of our companies, and of our society. So it's an important element, looked at it broadly, not just at an individual level. We endeavor to balance society, to create unity, coexistence that is harmonious. So, Chairman, I thank you.